So what made you want to go on The Masked Singer after kind of stepping out of the limelight for a little bit?
Because it was an adventure. It seemed like this would definitely be one of those grand adventures. I have no frame of reference for doing something like that, and I was all in.
Yeah, and you got to perform as Nessie, and with that came a big costume that was kind of had a tail, had a head, had all of this. How is it like navigating the stage when usually, it's you and a guitar?
It was pretty fun because you kind of have this sense of invincibility inside that thing. You're sort of protected, but it was also extremely hot, and I have
Mhm.
a newfound respect for the professional sports mascots and what they must deal with. And I was really trying to be careful with the costume at first because they it's such a beautiful piece, and
Yeah.
they spent so much time on all the details, and I don't want to tear it up. But then after an episode or so, you learn how to move around in it, and I figured I could jump around without flinging the tail into the crowd. And the farther down the line you get, the more comfortable you get.
Do you think you'd ever put on something like that again for a performance?
Oh, sure, why not? That was pretty
Yeah.
fun.
What was it like also having your daughter experience this with you as she shared some of those insights into your character with the judges?
So she's been a really good sport, and I think really if we did a deep dive on this, I think one of the reasons why I even got invited was because of a video that I did with her. Her teacher like put my music video on in one of her
Mhm.
classes, and it was like horribly embarrassing. And
Oh,
I caught the story on my TikTok channel, and the video got like 20 million views. So I think that's
wow.
probably how I got on the radar screen of the Masked Singer in the first place. So, I'd have to give her some credit for her embarrassment of me, put me in a position to embarrass her further. So
But now you have this kind of capsule of this time of you two sharing that together, which is really great.
yeah, and she came out on tour with me last summer. She was only supposed to be out for like a week, and she ended up staying out there for 3 weeks. And she's such a good traveler, and we had such a good time together, and I just can't say enough good things. And so she's been an integral part of the career as of late.
That's super sweet. In what ways did you surprise yourself on this journey, and what did you take away from your experience on The Masked Singer?
Um, I I I was surprised at how hard some of those songs were at first to sing because I had to work on them a little bit, and especially with you know uh, believe it or not, stargazing was I spent a lot of time singing it while I was on a treadmill
Oh wow.
to get ready for it because that performance had a lot of me moving around and
Hmm.
being able to keep the wind and to be able to sing the song and lug this giant costume around. So I actually trained for a couple of weeks to get ready to do that song.
Wow. I wouldn't even think of going on the treadmill and singing and doing all of that. That's interesting that that was part of your preparation process.
Yeah.
What else did you do to prepare?
Amy Chapman, the vocal coach that I worked with, she's such a great coach, and admittedly, I don't really ever do warm ups. I just walk on stage and start singing, and so she sort of re-educated me on the importance of doing warm-ups, and so I had to give her all the credit for reminding me that it's important to warm up before you sing.
Yeah, definitely. Also, your elimination was a history-making one for Mass Singer with that margin so close, like 1.1%. Did that make the getting booted off the show easier to take?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, everybody that's left in the final four, they're all great singers. So I'm honored to be in the conversation,
Hmm.
and yeah, I think I think them saying that it was less than 1% was just a really nice way of giving me a pat on the back on the way out. So thanks to them.
Yeah, I know you can't find out who you're competing alongside, but do you think you know who any of the those final four are?
I don't have a single clue, and I would venture to say that I got to be one of the oldest contestants on this season too, right? So I assume they're all much younger than me. So I don't have a single clue who they could be, but they're all great singers for sure.